Well, hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar about how to build your buyer persona. My name is Eric Sharpe and I'm a digital marketer. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I'm on my second business and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've helped about over 1,000 small and medium-sized businesses with their marketing and IT work. And what I've gained from a lot of this is understanding that, a lot of you out there don't have full-time staff to get this done. So I've attempted to break down a lot of these things so that it's very easy to do in a short amount of time to help you out there understand and gain insight that's going to help you in your marketing and your business so that you can digitally dominate everything, so that you can get out there and really do great work for your business. And this is whether you're a startup and you've got $0. This is great if you've been in business for a long time. This building a buyer persona is one of the number one things you need to do in a business whenever you're starting out. And it's also a good thing to do usually once a year when you get together with your marketing team, whether that's you and your staff or you and your puppy dog, whatever you do. So once again, my name is Eric Sharpe and I am your host for today. Let's dive right in about how to build your buyer persona. Well, why do you even need one? That's a question that some people ask me before I even made this webinar. Why do I need a buyer persona? This avatar. A lot of people say I've got a target market already. Why do I need a specific person? Well, looking at the Simpsons characters here, the reason why you need a buyer persona is to help you better understand your customers, and it helps you glean more insight and information when you talk about a specific person that buys from you, whether that is a fictitious person or that is a real person that has actually made purchases from your company previously and you continue to sell to them. The strongest buyer personas are based either on really good research or it's based on actual surveys and interviews and phone calls. So for those of you out there who are doing regular surveys for your customers, great job. I mean, that's a phenomenal thing to do. I typically suggest doing it quarterly or at least doing it once, if not twice a year, so that you can, still understand what it is that your people want. What do your customers want from you? If you have a brick and mortar store, it's as simple as just asking questions when they come in and are looking around for something, whether that's a clothing store or you're selling soaps or spices, whatever. Just ask people what are they looking for? What do you want? What are you interested in? And document these things. Now, when it comes to us who are strictly on digital, you need to get a little bit more savvy. You need to do some surveys. You can pop into some of these Facebook groups and survey people, go on LinkedIn, survey people. Try to go after your specific target market, of course, but you want to find out that information and soak it in and figure out exactly what people want. And this is how you develop your buyer persona. Now, this buyer persona that we're doing, sometimes called an avatar, is very necessary for your content generation. And that's something that's become extremely important for marketers and for small businesses to show that they're, a cut above the rest. And developing this content with a specific person in mind, i.e. your, perfect client, is important. So if you're going after, for example, a stay-at-home mom, this is an example of, a buyer persona that I would put together for a stay-at-home mom. So I'm using Marge Simpson. She's fictitious, of course, but I think she's a great example because a lot of you out there probably know a little bit about her already. She is faithfully married. She has 2 children and, typically wears the same clothes. She's not going out and spending a bunch of money on clothing. She might read the Good Housekeeping magazine. She's got 2 pets. Her husband works and is the breadwinner. They own a home with a mortgage that they've been paying off year after year. She drives a station wagon, and I don't know what brand, but you should definitely find out what brand station wagon. I would imagine she drives anything from a Volvo to a Subaru, somewhere in there. She's in her early 40s. and she has two sisters, but a small family. Her sisters were never really married, and they never had progeny. And Marge is progressive. Most of her beliefs are progressive, but she's conservative fiscally because she doesn't, she's not making a lot of money, and her money is dependent on her husband. She voted for Mayor Quimby once. I think that's kind of funny. Mayor Quimby is the mayor of Springfield. And but she voted for him once, but after a couple things he did, she never voted for him again. And then Marge, she drinks wine once on the week, once a week. She typically drinks on the weekend, if the kids are out, at a friend's house or something. So that is boiling down into more specifics in terms of, who the person is. Marge is a decision maker when it comes to anything that has to do with the house. However, when it comes to vacations, that might be more, Homer's decision. So that's something to think about, if you ran a travel agency, you might have to, you might be able to convince the father, to go on vacation. But when it comes to the finances of the house, it might come down to Marge. So that's one example. We're going to move forward into another example, a business owner. In this case, this is Apu, Nahasamina Petalan. And he is faithfully married. He has multiple children, so 3 or more children. He typically wears the same clothes. He's not too crazy with that, but he likes wearing cologne. So he's a big cologne user. He wakes up early to go to work. He doesn't have any pets. He is the breadwinner, and he does have a home with a mortgage. It's actually his second home in this case because he's had so many kids. He had to get a second home, or had to upgrade his home, I should say. He drives a Corvette. He's 40 years old. So you kind of get what we're doing when we break down this buyer persona. You really want to get specific into each individual, and you want to know, what would Apu do if Apu saw this product, in an ad that you made? What would he think? What would he do? What would his actions be if he saw it? Would he jump for joy and be like, wow, I've been looking for something like this for a long time. This is going to solve a lot of problems because I wake up early. I don't have a lot of time in the morning. So yeah, this instant coffee product that you're selling me is great for me. Versus if you're trying to sell him alcohol, well, guess what? Apu doesn't drink alcohol. He is religious and he doesn't drink. So these are the things you really want to think about when it comes to when you have your target market and then you bring it down into that specific buyer persona. So now it's your turn to figure this out. And we've got a little surprise for you at the end of this for watching our buyer persona webinar here. But, the buyer persona can be a lot of different things, but it's specific to who your current client is that you really just love doing business with, or this fictitious person that you would love to work with. What's their demographic information? Is it a male, a female? How old are they? Get specific, literally plug in a year. Are they 42? Are they 55? Are they 18? Where do they live? Are they in a metropolitan area? Are they in suburbs? Are they in the projects? I mean, where are these people? Do they own a home? Are they renting? Do they move every 2 years? Where's their living situation like? And then what is their job? Are they senior level, mid-level, or, are they working a blue collar job, a white collar job? Are they married? Or are they single? Are they widowed? Are they divorced? What does a day in their life look like? What does a Wednesday afternoon look like for them? Are they at work and then when they get off work, they have a beer with a friend? Or are they racing home to go pick up the kids from daycare? So those are some things you want to think about there. And of course, you want to dig down real deep into what are their pain points. Ultimately, this is what it leads us all to. What are their pain points? What are you going to do to help solve their problems? That's what we want to know. We want to know what problems you are going to solve for them, because that's how you're going to do business with them. And once they realize that you can solve a problem for them, then they want to know that they can trust you, of course. So, what do they value? What are their goals in life? What are they trying to do? Where do they go for information? What are they reading, audiobooks? Are they reading, paperback books? Do they not read at all? Are they listening to podcasts? And if so, which ones? Do they listen to, some off-skirt podcasts out there that are pretty wild and crazy? Or are they listening to a little bit more mainstream stuff? Do they listen to Spotify? Are they Apple Music? Are they Pandora music listeners? What are their common objections about products or services? Are they concerned about the trustworthiness of products out there? Is this person, what's called a crunchy person typically? Is this person more worried about what they're putting into their body? Are they eating, granola every day? Or are they not as worried about that? They're more worried about just getting to work on time and making sure that everything's done so that they can come home and keep the family happy. And of course, last but not least, what kind of a car are they driving? Do they even drive a car? Do they take public transportation? Are they Ubering everywhere? Maybe they drive for Uber. So these are all some things that you can answer. And since you've been so patient with me, even though we're, 10 minutes in here, not even, we've got a free worksheet for you. So this buyer persona worksheet is something that my team put together. Thank you, team. And we're asking you these basic questions, and I want to give this to you for free. I want you to print this out and use it. I want you to fill out this information, do the who, what, whys, and hows for your buyer persona, and then hang it up. Print this thing out, write in it, and then hang it up so that you see it. And always think about this buyer persona whenever you go to write, a social media post or an email blast out to your list. Always think about who that one specific person is. Would they approve of your email? Would they approve of the language that you're using? Would they find it funny or would they find it offensive? So use this free worksheet, and I'm going to show you where you can download it here. Use this free worksheet to utilize, and feel free to share it. Feel free to share this with anyone out there who you think would benefit from it. So here's a link to download the buyer persona worksheet. I went ahead and put this on there for you. And I'm just going to ask for your name and email so that I can get it over to you and email a link for you to download it. But feel free to grab it right there. And if you want any information about what we do with buyer personas, or you want to hook up with us, just send me an email, eric@digitalenvy.co. And if you'd like to get this presentation, I'm happy to send it over to you as well. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to talk about marketing and digital marketing, and always open for a conversation. So thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks.